know what though, Jew? But we had conversations about that though. Me, Ray, and Tim, I remember that verbatim. And you know, we used to say, "No, man, we ain't gonna never be like that, man." You know, like how these guys, you know, break up, and it's like, "No, man, we're gonna stay together as a union."
What I do?
You ain't do that. D.O.A. did that. Okay, stop, Jack.
Damn, it feels good to see people up. Dreaming of a master plan, plotting for days. Friends acting like they with me, seeing hate in their games. When it form, pull up, girl, ain't got nothing to say. Like, can I help you, sis? Now I'm with it, point me the way. But it's all good, then they say it's good royalties paid. The tour money, sure money, chocolate laid in the shade. Sorry to bother you, don't wanna argue through this undetestable. Not really hard to choose who was there in the international poll. Most of this talking is born while I'm sitting here revolutionary with jewels. My crown cock stays deuce when I step out the boat. Ambitious records in this month, nigga, just make it a truth. Damn, it feels good.
They are Toni.
What? No, we don't need a club. We can do it at my house.
Second album. At this year's American Music Awards, singing their hit single, Feels Good. Please welcome Toni.
Everybody knows.
Get up the bed.
Let's welcome my friends, Toni.
This six-member group from Oakland, California, also known as the Tonys, had their foot on the gas and showed no signs of slowing down.
It was a chemistry. Toni had a perfect chemistry.
Toni. They were a hybrid to us. You know, here you had these guys who were young and they made jamming music that sound like rap and hip hop music, but they were singing and playing live instrumentation.
I just think they're, pretty normal guys.
The group started off, it was Ray, Tim, and D.O.A. And Carl was actually, always was a musical foundation.
Amar grew up 1808, 109th. That's the backyard we used to go to. Great childhood friend, Amar, which was the lead singer of the Tonys for a minute. Childhood name William Davis, and Ray went to high school together. And elementary and junior high.
Once we got to junior high school, we got in the band. He was playing bass, I was playing trumpet and drums, and he was playing trombone as well. I was always known for doing Michael Jackson.
Raphael and Amar sang side by side. They were both first tenors in Castlemont.
We entered into a bunch of talent shows, Richmond Auditorium, and that whole thing there, because they used to give a lot of talent shows and stuff. So we entered. I think the first time we entered, we did Rapper's Delight, and I was rapped the whole doggone song, and we won first place, man. We won $500. And then I think Elijah was crying or something like that because he wanted. He said he needed. I forgot what it was, but he was crying about something. He was crying about something. He wanted to make sure he got his issue.
They left my percussions at home. This was what Amar was trying to tell y'all, because I was pissed off because I was gonna get my check. We won. I ain't get a chance to perform because they left my timbales at the house.
So you was on the sideline watching.
Mad than motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Mad at the motherfucker, crying and everything. That's what he saw us crying. I couldn't play. So we won, but they weren't gonna give us the money because we gonna get mocked in Richmond. You know what I'm saying? We was kids, they was gonna take that $500 from us. So I went and got my daddy. He couldn't even believe we won. So we got him, he came and got the money. So when we got to the house, we were talking about splitting the money. So I made the sixth member. So we was getting like $80 a piece. And they had to give me my issue, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't my fault they left my shit, so they left my tamales. I had to get my issue, so that's what the fuck I was crying about. Over here, right around the corner, is where Raphael stayed. You know? Right? My sister them stayed right here, and he stayed right there. So as a kid, he used to come over our house. We had all the instruments and stuff. He used to be mesmerized. And I had a group in high school called Spicy. And James Pugh, my partner, and Antron, and John Payne, and Brian Meter. That was the band. My cousin T. Hatter and his friend Trent came up to my school. They was come back and forth every now and then. So they came and stole a couple of my band members, which was John Payne and Antron to join Hot Water. So they somehow got Raphael and Tim to join Hot Water. So it's now Raphael, Tim, Antron, and John Payne. So and you add a couple guys from Hayward, Trent, and Derek Graham, Larry Graham's son. So they formed Hot Water. But I was cool. I supported them, you know what I'm saying? I was cheering them on. Like I said, I wasn't pissed off for some damn reason. I don't know why. I should have been pissed off about that, but I wasn't. So I supported them. And so that ran its course. Then Ray, Tim, and Carl hooked up to go play with Sheila E.
Raphael went to an audition with Sheila E. And he made the audition. So she asked him, did he have any other young musician friends that played? And so Timothy Riley and myself went to the audition. He said, man, they want y'all to come down. So we went down and auditioned. And they had already picked the musicians for the tour. And so they fired those guys that same day and hired me and Tim. Went on tour, did the Lionel Richie Dancing on the Ceiling tour. And then from that, we jumped and did the Under the Cherry Moon tour with Prince. Then we all got fired, and they gave us some McDonald applications. They said they passed it out and gave it to each member in the band. They said, y'all gonna need this, so y'all go and look for some jobs. So then we got home, and Dwayne I guess he had always had this idea of Toni. So
Dwayne came up with the name Toni with his meaning. I'm not going to repeat it because it still don't make no fucking sense, but he came up with it and it stuck.
That's what we should have named ourselves, Family Affair. It was just a nickname for an attitude and a dress code that we had and the way we would act when we went out. So we just had to come up with a name for that, and we just decided Toni. It seems like a character.
That's kind of how Toni started, and then all the rest of the guys, we all came together with Elijah and Antron. It was the original 6.
Carl Wheeler was another childhood friend who also went to Castlemont High School. He and Raphael formed a group that later went to perform with other Bay Area legends.
You know, when we formed the band, I would always do the prayers and stuff, so that's how I got the name The Rev, yeah.
It's nice to have you with us. Right. You come back and do another song for us later? Yeah. And bring Rev with you, okay? Toni.
This is Carl Wheeler, Old House, 1720, 92nd Avenue. That's where Carl Wheeler family was raised.
Say something, man. What's up? Peace.
May the Lord be with you.
He's the Rev.
And Carl is the keyboard player, and we call him the Rev, basically because he plays that old big church organ.
His father's a pastor. He had a group, his family group called the Wheeler Family. He used to call me and say, man, you want to play? And I used to say no because I was busy hanging around the corner being bad, so I kind of owe it to him. He pulled me back to getting into music a lot.
I don't need to buy stuff in order to play. There's 1,000 free ways to spend my day. I'm broken, I'm busted.
My dad would sit me in a room, in a dark room in the back, and turn off all the lights and make me practice on the upright piano and practice for, a couple of hours. And he said, you can't play unless you know every key and be able to play without, seeing it. So that's the reason why he had me playing in the dark, and it worked.
Toni has done it again.
I met Raphael. My dad was a barber, and his mother used to bring Ray to the barbershop to get cut every week. And so she told my dad that Ray plays bass. And so my dad told her, I got a son, he play guitar. Maybe they should hook up. So we hooked up. Then we started this, me and him had this little group, gospel group, and we would go to different churches singing "Lord Help Me to Hold Out." So he played the bass, and I played the guitar, and that's kind of how we first kind of hooked up.
This is ice cream. This is D.O.A. Yeah, that's his name. I'm keyboards. He's bass. He's bass. I'm keyboard.
And Antron, he calls himself Ice Cream. Why? I don't know. But anyway, he's the other keyboard player, and he's got the little funky lines and the little ice creamy sounds over the top, I guess you'd call it.
Antron Hale was the youngest member of the group and grew up in the Brookfield Village neighborhood, one of Oakland's roughest areas. Antron was one of few who managed to beat all odds while his talent paved the way for him.
Ice cream.
Ice cream.
Troy stayed up on the street. It wasn't Islington. He grew up right here. And they got a lot of personality in this section. This is where this dance was created called the Brookfield, and that's my favorite dance I still do to this day. And it still works.
Elijah, Raphael's first cousin, was responsible for the unmatched energy and stage performance which gave the Tonys a different swag.
I don't know of any other group that was as graphic and dance oriented and playing your own instruments as singing. I mean, it's self-contained.
He's the bass player and the move groover, we call him, I guess. He's the one that keeps it moving on stage.
See if we got any more Tonys here.
No more, I'm Elijah.
You know, you the one who livened up that stage. I don't know if anybody knows that on that first album, you was the main choreographer. All the steps from Hey Little Walter and Born Not to Know, all those steps, you came up with all that stuff. That was your creation.
I was always bougie. Even in the ghetto, I was always bougie. Elijah. I was teasing this girl in high school. Her name was Michelle. And I said, "What's up, Michelin?" And she thought she was being sassy, gonna outdo me. Nothing much, Elijah. I said, "Oh shit, I like that." Girl, keep it at.
Bass player for the group, Elijah Baker. Get you some, bro. Get you some.
Going to Calcimont, which is when I first met Elijah, who is just as crazy now as he was back then.
Man, look, this is no pretty nice studio. This shit bigger than everybody's studio we go to.
I've never seen one better.
But the engineer, don't come here.
Oh, that's fucked up. That's real fucked up, man.
Go show people your skills.
If you don't turn that shit.
Man, come on, man. Go show the world.
Oh, man.
It's only 5,000 looking at you. Come on, we don't hear that in the car.
You ain't gonna hear nothing.
Oh, he's a good guy. He's a great guy. Hey, this is my brother. I love him.
He's a piece of shit.
See?
Hey, look, now it's time for you to leave.
My father and Raphael's father played guitar. But my father was a professional gospel singer around the Bay Area. And Raphael, mother, my father, brother, and sister, so that's my first cousin.
Raphael and Elijah are first cousins.
I'll show you a picture of Raphael's mother and Elijah's father. They look like twins.
Ray, Tim, and Dwayne got signed to Tommy and Denny production company first, so there was only 3 signed to the first album. Who we were still all together. That's when the division started happening right there.
We worked, we rehearsed, we did showcases.
So we was rehearsing 12 hours a day.
12-hour rehearsals. You know, like, it was great.
Tommy and Denny recognizes more Tommy because he was from here. They are the ones who taught us how to write commercial songs. Because we was all about that funk and that Prince sound, that Minneapolis sound. Our career would have been over like that if it was up to us. Early part, slightly of 88, they was recording the Who album. I don't recall going to the studio not once. Maybe I did, because all the production was getting done by the 3, and Carl, and
Antron wrote, "I'm not gonna cry for you." But when we look at these credits, Antron name ain't nowhere in the credits. And everybody in the group know goddamn well Antron wrote that song at his house in Brookfield.
this is the Toni hangout right here.
414. Carlos Stanfield, our business manager, stayed here first, and then moved in Tim, and then Dwayne, and then our childhood homie Tyrone Duckett. Yeah, we just had that place rocking and rolling, boy.
Pouring everything into the group, Antron left it all out in his performance on stage. Even that wouldn't be enough to keep him in the band.
I had called A&M Records up, and I just called just to see, you know, if I could get through, because I had some tracks and I was trying to just sell some tracks. I get a phone call back, and it's A&M Records. And then the secretary says, "Hold on for John McClain." I said, "John McClain? Calling me? D. John McClain behind Janet Jackson? He's calling me?" Yes, John. He said, "Hey, man, I'm going to set you up to do some stuff with O'Brien and Shanice Wilson." I said, "Okay, cool. All right." And then he said something that triggered my whole brain. He said, "You know, just say like you, right? You know, man, you guys are what, 6-member group? So I guess that you guys get like what, 1.5 points a piece or something?" And I was like, huh? And then he looked at me and laughed at me and said, "You telling me you don't even know what a point is?" I said, "No." And then he breaks it down, the point system, how much a half a point is, how much a whole point is, and as the record sell, how much I'm supposed to get. So I'm coming back from A&M Records. I'm just letting it soak in now. I'm not mad, but I see the actual CEO of our company. He sees me walking down Sunset, and he says, "Tron, what are you doing out here?" I said, "I just left A&M. You know, I'm just trying to do some work." He says, "Well, you know it's work at our label too." I said, "Man, I'm down to do whatever. I just want to produce. That's all. I'm cool." So, but when I touched down, I believe it's Elijah and Carl, and I said, "Elijah, do you know that they're getting points and we are not getting points?"
Wow.
And Elijah's face dropped, and then Carl's face dropped, and I think that's what made them say he got to go, cause now it's out the bag. So it's starting this mutiny in this camp to where now Ray, Timmy, and Dwayne is having these private meetings amongst themselves now.
You know, the principals was buying cars and houses. I'm like, okay, I got splits too. Where's mine? You know, so that kind of posted a little red flag. So, you know, Raphael told me, he said, man, well, maybe you need to get with your, you know, get with your lawyer and find out what's going on. And that's what sparked the whole situation.
We started seeing Ray, Tim, Dwayne buying houses and cars. So we like, that's some bullshit. So I went and told my dad, I was like, hey man, they got cars and shit, you know? He was like, oh, well, son, we can't, you know, you able to afford the car note, so I'll go ahead and go sign for you for a car. You can't be out here without no car. So I went and got me a convertible BMW through my dad and my stepmother. They co-signed, got me a car. I paid for it, of course. And see, me and Raphael, we very, very close. That's my first cousin. He like my brother.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it was more like, cause he played bass. He played bass. I played bass. So he really didn't need me to be in the group as a bass player. He kind of like brought me in because I'm his favorite cousin, and I had talent. I taught everybody how to dance. You know, I was a dancer in the group.
Right.
That was my strength. I choreographed everything. So I brought something to the table. I made the Toni something to look at, you know, as far as entertainment wise.
Exactly.
But there's already a kick-ass band.
Bobby Brown.
Just choreographed shit, you know what I'm saying? But I brought that, and Ray played bass, and I started playing the bass a lot more because they kind of had me like Jerome when I first got in the group. You know, just add some little shit to it, and then so I think mentally, as I look back, they always felt they was doing me a favor versus I rightfully should have been in that position. Mm-hmm. We went to New York for a record release and a gold plaque celebration. We had entertainment tonight. Everybody, there's fanfare, cameras everywhere. Boy, we was excited, but we was like, woo! You know, shit, we for the boy. Big time. We had LL Cool J, MC Light, all kind of celebrities at this party. Oh, we for the boy. We made it. So we pulled up. Cameras, lights, action, everything. The limousine opened up, everybody screaming. Raphael, Tim, Dwayne got the car, and then the door, we was getting ready to get out, the door shut on us. We're like, what's going on? Yeah, I just sit in the car. It was Big Will out, but he was told what to do.
Who was in the car? In the limousine, right?
Me, Antron, Carl, and Jubal. And Carl like, hey man, what's this bullshit? What the fuck going on? And I was like, Carl, I don't know, man. I guess they're gonna come back and get us. So, man, we sat in that motherfucker about 30 minutes to the limousine driver. Press down the divider. Hey man, y'all gotta do something. Y'all gotta go. And plus he drove off somewhere. We don't know what the fuck he took us, but he drove off. Man, we had to walk damn near a quarter mile to the venue. We mad than a motherfucker.
Y'all performing this night?
Yes. Okay. We walk in and it was popping in there. It was, man, they was having a good time without us. So, was we even dressed, Carl? No, was we even dressed, man? Man, they was partying like a motherfucker. We was boiling like some eggs. From that point on, it was all down here from there. It was about them three, and we was the backup.
I mean, I know that had to hurt, man. They literally locked y'all in the limousine.
Shut the door on us and told us they'd be back. And we like, what you mean you be back? But we like, you know.
Me and Elijah Baker both got kicked off the group at the same time. It affected him in a different way than it affected me. He didn't take it as hard as I did.
Oh, you
see, I took it hard because, number one, if you're doing any job, most jobs, if you're doing something wrong that's displeasing them, somebody comes to you, a supervisor, a boss says, listen, you gotta step your game up, or else we're talking about letting you go. I know I never got that. Rumor was said then that Ray didn't like me and my cousin Timmy didn't like Elijah. I don't know how true it is. They made up this thing to where Ray said, I'll fire my cousin if you fire your cousin. Okay? And so Timmy, my cousin, my first cousin, my mother and his father is brother and sister. Timmy had no problems firing me at the drop of a dime.
They just said, hey man, y'all fired or some shit. At that point, I didn't give a fuck. I was like, fuck y'all, you know what I'm saying? Until I walked out that door. You know, I'm like, hold up. These motherfuckers just fired me. Oh, that's fucked up. What the fuck I'm about to do? That's 90 or 91. I'm 20 or 21 years old, and I just had a daughter, Carmela, in 89. So, but I was, man, fuck y'all. You know what I'm saying? Cause y'all, that's cool. Man, I don't want to be around y'all. If y'all gonna do me like that, I'm your first cousin. We family. If y'all gonna do me like that, I'm like, fuck it. I don't even want to be a part of it.
They called me up, and the only thing they said was, Mr. Hill, your services is no longer needed with this band. We get the same amount in this contract in this group. How can they just fire? Right. Plus I had a son on the way. I took a real hard fall, and what I did was something I shouldn't have did. But after that, I didn't care no more. I really didn't care. I touched every drug I could. I tried to, because I couldn't understand with my church upbringing and why God would let something like this happen to me after I put so much effort into it. I mean, I didn't get it. And since I was left in the hood, I only had my hood homeboys there, which means I did what my hood friends did. And I lost control for probably, you can say, 3 years, 4 years, maybe even 5 years. Maybe even 5 years. Once he fired me, he just didn't fire me. He fired me all of his life. No phone calls. No, how are you doing? Are you okay? Do you need a few bucks here and there? Timmy, Ray, or Dwayne has never even said, man, we was wrong. I apologize. We shouldn't have did that. Even though they older now and know that that was wrong, none of them had did that.
As the group molded, I was part of that chemistry. You know, more and more, I was, you know, becoming a better bassist, you know. But I never played on not one Toni record, the bass. Every bass you hear on the record, I didn't play on one song. But I played in every show.
Why is that?
I don't know why. I mean, I was playing in the concerts.
Right.
And everybody thought that was me on the records the whole time. I won't take claim for it because I didn't do it. You know, they asked, "Oh, hey, Elijah, man, you was killing the bass." No, it wasn't. Raphael was killing the bass. That's Raphael on the bass. And that kind of did something to me. You know, it kind of like, man, why they made me feel like I wasn't good enough. You know what I'm saying? But I knew I was good enough. But it made me feel like I wasn't. And I didn't know how to convey that to them at the time. So I kind of like suppressed it. Let me rewind. I forgot a major part off the first record, they went on promotional tour without me, and they didn't get a good response. So the president of the record company said, y'all need to go get Elijah. Because, I'm dancing and we made the front line. So when I went out there, promotional tour, we got rave reviews. Antron and Carl didn't go, so they just took us four. So I would go on promotional tour, perform with them, rave reviews, fanfare. But when it's time to sign autographs, there's only 3 faces on there. And I'm over here like, people like, they still want my autograph. Sign a picture. How come you ain't on here? Everybody went, how come you ain't on here? I ain't have no answer.
I had to do something to you.
Oh no, I was pissed the fuck off. But I wasn't angry. I was more hurt than angry.
Okay.
I was more hurt than angry. For 6 weeks straight, we transportation to the place, radio interviews all day, every day, perform, party, same thing the next morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, every day. And remind you, we're on East Coast time and we're young, so we don't go to bed till late on West Coast time. So we really only get like an hour of sleep. So we doing this 6 weeks straight, man, and I'm putting in work. So, and, some nights Tim can't perform because there ain't no drums there, so it just be us 3. But when the promo picture comes, it's still, I'm missing. We was pretty much going on the road and not speaking to each other.
This dude has now way went from the Mitsubishi straight to a Benz. Tim went from nothing to a brand new Corvette. You know what I mean? Like, and we were having to do extra things just to kind of keep up. And that's what you're trying to do when you're young like that. You're trying to keep up.
Right. We speculated about dollar amounts, but we never knew dollar amounts. All we knew that we didn't get our fair compensation.
There was a disbursement of $6 million.
That you're 100% sure about.
I'm 100% sure about it. It was a disbursement of $6 million that went 2, 2, and 2 instead of the way it was set up to go. That group was a double platinum group out there, and that number should have been $10 million.
Exactly.
That number should have been $10 million to start with.
Can we cut, please? Carlos.
Yeah.
We never knew that. That shit.
Y'all never knew that was for $6 million?
We never knew shit. We know shit, bro. That's what the problem was.
Left Bank convinced him to do that.
And see, they hired. But you couldn't convince me to do that. Oh, wow. You know what I'm saying? You
exactly.
You couldn't convince me to do
nobody
that.
Nobody could have came to you and made you do that to them.
You couldn't do that to them.
I would.
Yeah, I know you wouldn't have did it either.
No, of course not.
Man, bro, $2 million and you just didn't give us nothing?
They gave me the money that they said that was owed to me. It was something like maybe like $84,000 or some bullshit, right? And then they took 20% commission. Left Bank did out of that.
They weren't even around when you made that money. That wasn't right either, because that wasn't their money to make.
Exactly.
That was your money.
That was right. Exactly.
If Charles just heard this shit right now, and he gonna hear it.
Man, I don't know how come I always thought y'all knew that number. How you think Tim bought that house? How you think Tim bought that house and all that stuff up
they
there?
Never told shit, but that's what made me know something was wrong. I was like, how y'all buying houses?
Because
we got damn near the same percentages. Where our shit at?
That was the whole point. I want to hear the truth, bro.
Wow.
We never got the truth.
Yeah.
But the world need to hear that, though. Fuck.
I'm not laughing because I thought you knew.
Look at this, bro. We didn't know.
I thought y'all knew that they got $6 million.
Those are cousins, man. Carl, Tron, and myself didn't get our fair share. There was plenty of money dispersed because you bought 3 houses, 3 brand new cars. You bought Carlos out for $250,000, and I didn't receive no artist points, which was 18% split between the 6. I didn't receive no performance royalties. I didn't receive my advance. That's what I'm sure about.
there was so much animosity that it allowed me to keep my eyes open of the things that was even happening to them.
They gave me that, told me to sign off a contract. I went to Raphael's house. I signed it. He gave me the contract. I signed it at his house in Sacramento, and he gave me a $10,000 check. Like, that was some big shit. And I was like, I took that check. I picked up Antron. We drove to L.A. to get legal representation. But nobody would pick up our contract because back in them days, they had cahoots, you know what I'm saying, relationships that we didn't know nothing about. Nobody wouldn't fool with it, and I couldn't understand. I went to about 3 or 4 different attorneys, high-powered, like, here go the proof right here. We owe this. And they're like, and man, I got discouraged, and I just said, fuck it. You left before me and Tron.
Yes, I did. I left before you and Tron did.
So on your way out,
yeah,
how come you didn't pull out coattail for better representation? Because you seen the writing on the wall.
Oh, I saw the writing on the wall, but I didn't have any idea. I didn't know that you guys were asked to sign off out of that Toni Incorporated deal. I didn't know that at the time.
I was in a studio with Carl. When he's looking at this document, I'm like, yo, why don't you get a lawyer? Man, this is my brothers, I trust them. Same way with Antron and Tim. Their parents are siblings. So you're not gonna think as a 15, 16, 17-year-old that I need to have somebody look at this because they may be lying to me. Never think that. We just went from dreaming to Arsenio Hall show. Raphael know I liked cars. So he would drive me out to Pleasanton. I like old school cars. He would drive me out to Pleasanton and be like, we go to old school car lot. That Mustang right there, that 66 convertible, black on black, I'm getting that for you. Me, being 18 and impressionable, not having the forethought to say, no, let's get this work and I'll get it myself. I was just like, you gonna do that for me, man? Gullible, you know. Yeah, I got you. 18. I got you.
With 2 members of the band being dismissed and a third walking away, the chemistry of the band fell apart and would never return. However, the band added another longtime friend with guitar player John Jubu Smith, which added a more mature sound to the group, but still the chemistry which everyone grew to love was still missing.
I came in during the completion of the Revival album.
Yep, 11:36. My brothers Jubu and Eric Pickfunk. Send me there, man. Just come over here all the time, jam with them, snatch them up.
The way I got in the band was this. Raphael's sister, she passed. And I went to Raphael and I said, hey man, long time no see. I just wanted to give you my condolences on the passing of your sister. And we hugged. He said, man, come to Carl's father's church. We're going to rehearse because I'm going to sing at the service on the next day. I followed him down to Carl's father's church, worked on the song, and then when they got done, he said, man, let me hear you play. I haven't heard you for a while. So Kenya, Elijah's brother, was playing, so he handed me his guitar, so I started playing. So Raphael was like, yo, man, give me your number, man. I'm gonna stay in touch, you know. A few days later, he called me, and at that time, he was playing. He said, I wanted to play you our album. So I'm listening to the stuff. I said, man, that sounds good. Then he put on Feels Good, and he's like, what would you play on this, you know? When he handed me an acoustic guitar, so I started playing some stuff. He's like, damn, man, I gotta get you in the group, bro. I gotta get you in the group. And he was saying this, I didn't believe him. Plus, I didn't care because I didn't really like Toni. And let me say it this way: I love the brothers. I love the guys, but At that point, I was going to Berkeley High. I was in jazz band, and I had a full scholarship to Berkeley College of Music in Boston. So I was kind of thinking like, I'm going to go and be the next George Benson or be the next, The first song I wrote on that I can remember was, I want to say Couldn't Keep It to Myself. The biggest song was Anniversary, but we did that in Los Angeles after we had been in Trinidad for 4 months. And me and Raphael went first. We were there like 3 weeks before anybody else came.
This is messages.
John didn't do that.
Sir.
John didn't do that. It sounded like you did it.
Antron and Elijah didn't come. They would take me to functions that they wouldn't take Elijah and Antron to. For instance, we did David Letterman's show.
I know that you really want to be with me, so don't let them dictate how love should be. You know how it feels when we are alone, so thrilling. You blow me like a saxophone. Well, I like your friends now, don't get me wrong. So let's way bye-bye, cause we're going on. I know that we'll leave. Girl, I know we can do much better.
And they used those guys in that band, but they took me because I was always like the musical director.
Either that one or that one. I'm thinking of 424. 424 is where Tim stayed at. And we used to be up here all the time in high school. He used to kidnap us, take us to church. And we didn't want to stay that long.
My cousin, I called my cousin up one time. And this was after the drugs and everything else. I'm clean. I'm trying to get my life back right and blah, blah, blah. And he had just bought this big house out in Folsom. And I said, cousin, man, I need about a G at least, man. I just got some bills to pay. And he said, I'll call you back. So I waited on this call, about 2 or 3 days. I called the phone number. It was disconnected. So I asked Dwayne, and Dwayne would say, you know what? You better go ask your cousin. Our manager that set it up for us to all get our percentages was gone. They said they had fired him. I don't know if he quit or if he was fired. But they cashed him out, I guess. But the lawyers had the paperwork. We never had our own contracts, which means we had no evidence of it. None. No evidence of it. Matter of fact, the evidence came out. I'm pretty sure Elijah, he probably has it now, or Carl.
On contract, the group was signed as a 6-member band. However, the album covers were misleading by showing only 3 faces.
Even for me, Toni was always 6 people. I always knew that. So when you look inside the album cover, you would see pictures of the 6 of them. So I just rationalized that was a marketing thing too. Toni, so just put 3 cats on the cover. I never thought it was cool, but I understood it.
It was always 6 until we got them contracts. Then everything changed. When that money started coming, everything just changed, and then all of a sudden it was like principal for 3. So we was a little confused about that. Me, Elijah, and Antro. It's like, wow, how did that come about?
We've been playing together since we were 7 years old. You wrote an anniversary with me. Carl Wheeler on keyboards in the back. Another original member, but all these guys I know up here.
Like I said, but after the royalty checks and stuff start coming in, and it wasn't reflecting. It's like, okay, something is really, really wrong.
Right, because you actually created,
co-wrote a lot of
stuff.
Yeah.
What was some of the ones you co-wrote?
Feels good, whatever you want. Anniversary.
Were you terminated or did you walk away?
Well, I only walked away because Elijah and Tron got fired. When they got fired, they were family to those guys. So I'm like, okay, well, if they doing this to family, and I'm just, just a homeboy, I'm not exempt. So I'm like, wait. I walked. I just couldn't fathom the fact that I was going to play with these guys and they just did their cousins this way. I said, I can't do that, man. Mm-hmm. A lot of people thought I was crazy, but I'm just for right. You know what I'm saying?
Like Carl is very stern. He a hard person to work with because he's oh my God, he gonna let you know you fucking up, and he gonna discourage you with his face expression because he's such a perfectionist. It's irking when something wrong. It could be out of tune, not loud enough, or you hit a wrong chord, you hit a minor with a major, he gonna lose his whole damn cool. So he kind of hard, but he know what he talking about. Right. He have that seniority over us. We gonna tell him fuck yourself every now and then, but he have, sometimes we ain't trying to hear that shit, Carl. All that fucking technology, all that technical shit you talking about, all that theory. We don't want to hear that. Just play, motherfucker. But Carl is all theory. You know what I'm saying?
I hope you get the real Rev. Please tell you get the real Rev. Don't let his ass get away with that. I love it. Man, that's what I miss about you,
And he be right.
You say he was the hardest one to convince to get back in the group?
He want to do it just like the rest of them. He just didn't believe they want to do it. So he's like, man, in all of our minds, they ain't gonna never do right by us. Nobody never apologized. That apology could have took away anything financial. But for you to think you ain't do nothing wrong to us, when you had the power to change everything that happened to us or did not happen for us, that's valuable. Like, you have to apologize for that. You know what I'm saying? That's priceless. You got to do that. That haven't been done. So we still carry that hurt and pain, but when we see him, we had so much good times together. And like I said, Ray is like my brother. He a Taurus. He's stubborn. I'm a Pisces. I know how to swim around his ass, but he don't have any kids, so he don't know the sacrifices of doing when you got kids. So he had a liberty to do what he want to do because it's just him by himself. So it's a different mindset, and we understand that, but he don't understand that yet. So with all us having that in common, having families, it's a whole different urgency for us. And he don't have that same type of urgency. Dwayne is about Dwayne. Tim is just in the middle. He can care less either way. He fine with whatever he could. But us, on the other hand, we are like, hey man, something got to happen. We got kids. Our kids don't even know each other.
Elijah kids don't know my kids. Nobody kids know nobody's kids. My kids don't know each other because it was that animosity. We were separated. I'm not gonna come to some function you throwing. How are you even able to throw that function? Because you taking all the money.
Though the bond of the band was being tested, they managed to get back together for a fourth and final album titled House of Music.
In the negotiations of the fourth album, because it almost wasn't a fourth album, they paid big money to this record. And Ray said, man, it's only fair. I don't think Ray know I heard this conversation, but he was like, it's only fair that we give Elijah and Jubu some money. I don't even know why he didn't get Tron no money. I don't even know Tron. I don't know. I forgot the whole dynamic. But I know they said, because I was valuable to Ray, and close to Ray, and Juba was close to these three, and they got such a big purse. I almost want to say they got like somewhere from $3 million to $6 million. It was something humongous. And they're like, man, let's at least give them 75,000, you know. And Ray was pushing for it. Dwayne and Tim don't even know I heard them, but I heard you, motherfucker. They did not want to give me and Jubu a penny.
Nothing? They wouldn't try to work for nothing?
They probably give us retainer some little work fee, but they didn't want to give us no advance. I heard that with my own ears. They didn't know I heard that. But once again, I sucked that shit up too. We got it though. You know what I'm saying? Got 50 up front. We were supposed to get 25 on the completion of the record, the other part, but I got mine. Ray made sure I got mine, but Juba didn't get his. So that was the type of extra things Ray did for me because our closeness, you know. So that was our biggest advance we got with the Tony. That was like 95, 96.
And the group broke up in 96?
97. It didn't last a year.
I knew I was writing. I didn't know anything about the business. I didn't know points. I didn't know publishing or any of that. So we finished the Southern Soul album. The first show we doing to promote it is Arsenio Hall. We do this rehearsal. There's a white guy sitting in the audience at rehearsal. You know, no studio audience member. He's part of production. We finish and then he comes up to me. He's like, man, can I talk to you? Cool, you know. Everybody's in the dressing room getting ready for the actual show. And he says, I'm a huge fan of this band. And this third album is so much more mature from the second album. And I can tell it's because of your guitar work, you know. And I said, okay, you know, thank you. And he said, so man, what's the name of your publishing company? I said, what's that? Whoa. He said, man, so what did, you know, on the song Leaving, you know, what did you do? I said, and then I did the music. And Raphael played, I did the guitar stuff, Raphael played the bass, blah, blah, blah. So he was saying to me, well, you came up with the body of the song, you know, and I hear that on this song, I hear that on this song. He said, did you do that on this song? I said, yeah. Did you do that on this song? Yeah. He said, did anybody ever tell you what to play? I said, no. He said, man, you're writing and producing, and you don't know about production. No, sir. He said, okay, man, first of all, these aren't your friends. Now imagine what I'm dealing with. I grew up with these guys. These are my brothers, as far as I'm concerned. Once that stuff started happening, then I'm going to these guys negotiating. Hey, man, but I wrote 2 verses and I wrote the hook. Why does it say 5%? And you got 95%. Oh, man, no. I said, no, we'll fix it. Lip service, and never, you know, it never got fixed. So my discord and discomfort it never subsided for me.
When bad business drove a wedge between the brothers, Raphael was the last to become a victim of the group's demise.
The breakup was terrible. Like when they fired Ray had he was so mad. He was so pissed off. I said, they fired you too, Ray? I said, they really done lost their doggone mind now. Woo, these niggas ill.
After the group broke up, Ray formed Lucy Pearl, and I played with them.
You played with Lucy Pearl?
Yeah, I played with Lucy Pearl, but that still was no goddamn money either. So, shit. He got screwed out that deal too, you know. But that group was on its way to being very successful.
I remember.
Wait a minute. This is one of my favorite songs from one of my favorite albums.
In the early 2000s, Raphael and Dwayne wasn't on speaking terms. And Alicia Keys reached out to Dwayne and wanted to record a song with Toni. So Dwayne reached out to Tim, Carl, Jubu, and myself. So we flew out to New York to record the song with Alicia Keys titled Diary. And I remind you, this is the first time I ever played bass in the studio and recorded with Toni. And that CD won 3 Grammys and sold 10 million copies.
After the band's breakup, like Antron, Elijah's life also took an unexpected turn.
The production gigs weren't coming in like they was before. The record industry changed drastically. So I'm back in Oakland now. I'm back, around my partners. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't sell drugs. That wasn't for me. But white collar seemed kind of interesting. Wouldn't hurt nobody. You know what I'm saying? Credit card game wouldn't hurt nobody. Matter of fact, I helped more people than I hurt. Like, I made more money in that than I did in Toni. Yeah. The day I got caught, I just had my little twin girls, and my one little baby was crying hysterically. And she ain't never did that when I leave the house. So, I was on my way to L.A. and she's just crying hysterically. And I know which one it was. It was Amaya. And it made me feel bad, like, dang, I shouldn't even leave. I was like, I'm finna just gone. But at the same time, I was very tired. I didn't feel good what I was doing. I didn't feel good doing it.
Okay.
But I almost felt obligated because I was helping more people.
So you got caught?
Well, I didn't get caught. The dude who's stealing credit card numbers got caught. He just set me up on a sting.
Okay.
So anyway, my baby was crying. That was one someone, right? He kept calling me to buy these numbers when I said I didn't want to buy no more numbers from you. And he stayed at this one location. I was like, nigga, I could meet you anywhere. You know what I'm saying? But he just wanted to stay at this one location where he'll set up the sting at. And I stopped going. I used to let my boy Rodney, rest in peace, Rodney Evans. I stopped going, and Rodney used to go meet with him. But I told Rodney, I said, I better go with you today. I don't feel right. Something don't feel right. I better go with you this time. So, on my way, I got a call from a client. I always answer my phone. I was very reliable. You can always... For some reason, I didn't answer that call. And guess what that call was about?
Tell you.
I was about to get set up. And I didn't answer that call. But at the same time, bro, I was ready. If this is going to be the reason I leave it alone, I was like, I'm just going to deal with it. We had a set little program. He would conceal the information, but this day he had it out in his hand exposed. But normally he have it in the bag up on his shirt, get to the car and boom, right? But he had it exposed. And he had this look in his face. And I'm like, what's up, bro? You're like, it is what it is. The fuck that mean? It is what it is. What that mean? Oh, shit. So we started driving off half mile away. Woo! Took us down to Eastmont Mall, interrogators. I said, man, he just gave me a ride, man. I did. I was tired. Fuck that house. I was tired. I was like, man, he gave me a ride. That's me, you know. So we sat in North County for a couple hours. The state threw it out. She threw it out 3 days later. I'm out of jail. 2 years straight. I'm cool. I ain't doing that. Thank you, Jesus. I ain't doing that no more at all. So I went into real estate. Got good in that. Everybody's rich at this time, so including me. But the market crashed at the end of 06, 07. But 06, in the height of my real estate career, my attorney called me. I said, I'm in party mode too. What's happening, man? Oh, no. Hey, Elijah, you just got indicted. Hey, fucking indicted mean at this time. Hey, I'm 40 years old. I ain't never been in trouble. Indicted? He said, do not get on an airplane. Just come here and I'll walk you in and walk you back out. But do not take the plane, U.S. Marshal. So I drove all the way from Houston, Texas to Oakland, went to court, and as I looked at my paperwork only got about $9,000 in value of the crime they charged me with. You know, $1,000 here, $400 for them. Just some bogus little shit.
Right.
So I'm like, y'all indict me for $9,000. I was just so that about 10 counts they got me for. But he's saying, the judge saying, count 1, $250,000, 5 years. Count 2, and my sister and my father, they hear all the counts, but I'm looking at the paperwork. I was like, this shit don't make no sense. I'm not getting all that time. And I knew when I did White Collar, I knew that that's something I could stomach. I'm not gonna do anything I can't stomach.
Right.
My heart ain't gonna let me. But I like the kind of money I make and the punishment. I could stomach this one. So there was crime, but I was like, I knew everything he was saying was bullshit. I was like, man, this motherfucker lying. But my family been going crazy. After that, we went to court. They let me out, of course. So I'm out for 2 years fighting it, and my attorney said, with my guidelines, it was 27 to 36 months. But you know, if you cooperate, you get this. I said, man, I ain't got nobody to tell on. I was by myself, you know what I'm saying? I ain't got nobody to tell on, man. I did it. I admit to it. That's it.
Right.
So because I didn't give them nothing, it went from they gave me more. They made us some more bullshit charges, and it went from 57 months to 70 months. Guidelines changed to the other bullshit to turn my points up. Oh, what, you got to be kidding me. Made up shit. Just made up charges. So I was telling my attorney was like, hey Elijah, just check it. I said, man, I really didn't do these. I did those, but I didn't do this. You know what I'm saying? I'm not taking that shit. I didn't do this. I did those. I didn't do this. Because it said after 04, I did these crimes. Nigga, after 04, when they let me out of state, I ain't touching no more. So he said, just take it. Judge gave my sentence, and I ended up doing 57 months. Fair time.
And during this time at Fed, did you write? Did you?
Yeah, I wrote.
They had a celebrity in the jail with them.
Well, first of all, not only being a celebrity, but I knew people in there already. You know, from high school, you know, from the streets, friend of a friend. So it was immediate endorsement, you know what I'm saying? But then I had to learn the jailhouse ways, the jailhouse rules from the regular life rules. And sometimes when I spoke of my life, people thought I was bragging, but that was my life. So I had to learn to not talk about it.
Right.
Because everybody that motherfucker bitter. You know what I'm saying? So
Exactly.
you got some real players in there who with it and understand, because they live that lifestyle too. But for most part,
right,
it sounds like I'm bragging.
Right.
So I had to learn to, you know, chill out Lodge. When I left there with the Big Springs after 2 years to the Low, they had band equipment. I was doing concerts. They had people who sing. So I taught people songs. We did all the originals. I wrote my whole record in there, and I came out. That's how I came up with Park Avenue Soul Collection. I wrote it in there.
According to Hype magazine, Park Avenue band leader, producer, and original Toni member Elijah E.B. Baker was released from prison, the Big Spring Federal Correctional Institute in Texas, with more than just the shirt on his back. Elijah left the federal pen with a fresh batch of new songs in his pocket, tunes he had composed on the prison's own acoustic guitar, an instrument he mastered during his 4-year stretch inside, but still being a professional bass player first and foremost. The fruits of Baker's hard work included an album's worth of material he wrote for his Northern California supergroup, Park Avenue, and their new record, Soulpolation.
I would have had no reason to hustle if my group had sold millions of records and Dwayne is still touring in 30 years. I could have survived playing the goddamn bass like I always did if everybody was fair with the money.
After Elijah was released from prison, he was determined to get the original band back together. But after numerous attempts, only Antron, Jubu, Amar, and Carl were willing.
Yeah, I played for the Tonys when I got out of jail. I needed something to do. But I didn't want to do that shit just to be doing it. I wanted to get some money and get back adjusted to society. It was no longer Toni. That was the name, but it was really D.O.A.'s group now. Mm-hmm. Like all that other shit. Fuck your history. Fuck that you started with me saying, Dave, fuck all that. This is my shit. And this is what I'm paying out. 8 hours a day. I made more money annually working at McDonald's, doing the fries, than what I get paid in 2020 when I got out of fucking jail. And we only did 37 days, so you do the math. Yeah, you can do that shit right now. 30 times 600 is 18,000. And fucking 7 times 3 is 2,001. So I made $20,100 of fucking annually playing with the Tonys. I get that shit to my kids. There you go, y'all gift certificate. That's y'all, man. I don't care what the hell I do with that. But one thing I do respect about that, what D.O.A. did. D.O.A. he ain't gonna tell you, like, he ain't gonna quietly fuck you. He gonna tell you this what it is. And he ain't gonna bend. It's up to you if you want to accept that or not. So after that year was up, I was no longer accepted. And me and D.O.A. had a disagreement New Year's Eve because I got them a show in Oklahoma. He was willing to pay, he paid me 5% for getting the show and my $600. So I'm like, if you could pay me that to hook up the show and my pay, you could pay me that shit every night. But you just don't want to pay me that.
Right.
So then, he was like, man, this is my shit. I said, bruh, ain't your shit, Wade. I said, we all was in high school together. You was the old dude with everybody else, bro. Like, me, Carl, Antron, Tim, and Ray went to school together. That was our generation. You had a whole different band, bro. I was like, yeah, you did come and you was a part of it, but we was here before record deals, so don't treat me like I'm somebody new, bro. Like, I deserve to not get paid like I just got here, bro.
Right. Why did the group break up?
Financial conflict. We had an accountant named Lance Alexander at the time. But D.O.A. and Tim and Lance had the relationship, and they was the ones who was going mostly in the pot. Like Raphael didn't really even go in the pot. When Raphael uses money, it's pretty much going to recording costs. He was real serious about allocating the money properly for his production. He didn't spare no expense. But D.O.A. and Tim, on the other hand, they was, I don't know what they was doing. They was getting things done too, but at the end of the day, them three had a financial conflict. So when they looked at the numbers, D.O.A. and Tim was balling out of control. And Ray was like, hey man, what's up with this shit, They was like, however, and that caused the division of the M3. D.O.A. grew up at 81st and Royal Park, at Pink House to the left. It's D.O.A. childhood home.
With Raphael gone, D.O.A. turned to another one of Ray's childhood friends, Amar, who had been involved with the band since the beginning.
Raphael used to come over after a studio session and ask me, how did he sound? Did he sing it right? This and that. So he kind of like just kept me in the loop of the whole process. And then when they got ready to go on the road to do like their first major tour, they snatched me up and was like, come on, man, let's roll. So I went out there doing wardrobe. I was ironing clothes.
Mm-hmm. Start somewhere.
You gotta start from somewhere. So I was ironing clothes, taking clothes to the cleaners, carrying equipment, help set, because we didn't have no like real roadies. So at the time I was working for this water company delivering bottled water, you know. And one day when I was done with my route, I happened to be in West Oakland. And so I was like, man, let me slide by Dwayne's. He was always working on something, you know. So when in the studios he was working on something, he's like, hey man, you got a few minutes? You feel like singing some backs for me? So I was like, yeah, it's all good. So sung the backs, and we're just sitting there chopping it up with him. And then he was like, dang man, I forgot how you and my brother kind of got the same kind of vibes, same kind of tone. And I was like, yeah. I said, well, now that you mention that, what y'all doing with the group? What's up? Is it Tony's? Y'all ain't touring? You're not doing it? He's like, nah man, since my brother left, we ain't been doing nothing. I said, y'all still get calls? He said, all the time. I said, really? I said, well, I said, well, you know, if you ever want to get back out there on the road, man, I can make it happen. And he was like, for real? I was like, yeah, for real. He was like, you know the songs? I was like, Dwayne, I've only been here since the beginning, you know, in some form or fashion. So he was like, right, my bad. So I was like, yeah, man, let me know. He said, all right. 3 days later, he called me and said, hey, we got an opportunity to do this summer jam. You think you can do it? You think you can make it out? I said, yeah. He said, okay, I'm gonna call everybody, all the original cats, and see if we can put this together. So he called everybody, and they was like, is Raphael doing it? He's like, nah, Amar doing it. They was like, nope. they was like
wait a minute. The boys you grew up with.
Yeah, they was like
what, they think you couldn't do it?
I guess not. They was like, well, no, they didn't think I could do it, you know. And plus they was used to Raphael, so you know, it's hard to go from one thing to the next when you're used to this over here, and this right here hasn't been really proven. You know, I was just like, oh, you know, at first I was like, damn, really? I was like, okay, well, but okay, whatever. You know, it is what it is. So Dwayne was like, man, we got to find somebody else to play, I guess. I said, don't worry about it. I know some cats. We started working it out, and started having rehearsals and everything. Then Elijah came to one of the rehearsals, popped in, and he was standing back there looking and stuff like that. And then after we stopped, he was like, is that you singing? And I was like, yeah. He said, that ain't the record? That ain't no. I was like, nah, that's me. He's like, huh, I'll be back. So he went and got on the phone, and he said, oh, you know, I don't want to. He's like, you Negroes need to come down here because yada, yada, yada. Whoop, they doing this and they doing that. And Amar, hey man, y'all might want to come down here. So folks came down. So now we got part of the original band. We on stage, and we giving it to them. We giving it to them the best way we know how. So Rick James goes up, and when he gets off, he's mad. He was like, all right, I'm gonna get you motherfuckers. I'm gonna get you motherfuckers the next show. Cause we laid it down. We laid it down.
Yeah.
So after that, our next show was in Colorado. Yeah, Denver. It was in Denver, Colorado, with Rick James. So we opened up for Rick James. Man, right. So we opened up for Rick James, and we remember the conversation because he said he was gonna get us the next show. Yeah. So we trying to give it to him the best way we know how. Man, Rick James go up there and he stomp a mud hole in it. So much so, when he had that stroke that everybody knew about, he had the stroke on stage, and he come off the stage. And when he come off stage, they lightweight holding him up, and he walking, and his body's kind of contorted a little bit, and they called the ambulance and all that kind of stuff right there. But he looked at us and said, I got you motherfuckers tonight.
Tomorrow will come, and girl, I can't wait as I ran.
The last performance of 2018, New Year's.
Right.
Did you know that was your last performance? Going to be your last performance?
Nah.
No.
Not really.
That was your last.
Not really, but
when?
I didn't think it was gonna be my last performance, but I kind of felt like it was gonna be my last performance. Because the tensions was high before the show even started. So I went out to Houston maybe like 3 days before. I ended up doing radio, did like a Good Morning America.
When you say radio, was this for your
single? For my single.
Oh, it wasn't for the Tonys.
It wasn't for the Tonys. So I was out there networking, mixing it up and everything. But I get a call from the Tonys management talking about if I'm out there doing advanced promo stuff for the Tonys, I need to run it by management, run it by protocol, protocol. And I was like, hey man, I ain't doing nothing for the Tonys. I'm out here doing me. We get dressed for the show and everything. We hit the stage. And folks just kind of start Dwayne kind of start doing his own thing, kind of like letting me know, trying to let me know that this is my stage. This is my group. And that whole thing there, So I was just like, you can have the stage, dude. You really need to be able to play your guitar and let's just have a good time and rock it out and do what we normally do. Man, and get off stage. I kind of knew then, New Year's Eve, I was like, oh, I'm kind of done with this. I'm kind of done. So after getting back, let some days pass. I talked to Tim in the group, told him what I was going to do. And he was like, you really going to? Because I told him I was going to put an email together. Tim Riley, the drummer, original drummer. Okay. So I told him I was going to put an email together stating what I needed, what I wanted going into this new year and season, and what I required in the whole 9 yards. So he was like, dude, if you put that email together and say everything that you saying, they ain't going to go for that. Management, Dwayne, them, they're not going to go for it. And it's going to be over. And I was like, I don't think it's going to be over. But if it is, it is.
Pay was pretty good.
Pay was pretty good?
Yeah, it had to be.
I stayed because I genuinely loved Dwayne and Tim. You know what I'm saying? Because away from the Tonys and away from music, it was like some cool folks to hang out with. It's like, yeah. But when you bring that element back into the Tonys, it was something different. You know what I'm saying? So, was my pay good? I had a job the whole time I was been in Toni.
You had a 9 to 5?
9 to 5.
Touring America?
While touring America, going to different countries,
from the 90s.
Spending months in Japan.
It's not the hottest group from the 90s.
Right, all over the world.
So, what, the Tonys just weren't bringing it in, or?
Oh no, they was bringing it in. I just wasn't getting it. So, as a man, as a husband, as a father with 3 kids, I had to go to work. And so we could do a show somewhere in the Bay, and I bounce up in an office building with a package, and they like, dude, didn't I just see you at Concord Pavilion last night? We're like, yeah. They like, dude, you're on Toni. I'm like, yeah. They like, lead singer. I'm like, yeah. They like, you don't working for them.
I mean, that had to be hard. It had to be hard to swallow.
It wasn't hard for me to swallow because you know what? I'm not prideful like that.
Okay.
You dig?
Uh-huh.
It was more about
the love for the music.
It was the love for the music, doing what I was doing, love for them, trying to keep the group rocking and rolling, doing what I needed to do, and then my family. I had mouths to feed. I had mortgage to pay, and everything. So if I wasn't, I was blessed being able to be on the stage, travel the world, and do what I love to do. But once that was always back to reality, what I got to do, I got to get up, put my boots on, put the uniform on, and go to work. So I'm still working, still doing what I got to do.
How did that go? How did it?
Oh, so the Tonys?
Did you get a letter? Email,
okay, so basically, I finished it. So going back, so I stated in the email, I'm gonna need my $500 back. I'm gonna need a pay raise. Moving forward, and because of what happened on New Year's, I'm gonna need my money in the form of a cashier's check, and I'm gonna need it before I walk on stage. So from now on, before I hit the stage, I need to see my cashier's check. Okay, I got it. Let's hit the stage. And so I said a couple other things, but I ended the email with, now that all of that is out the way, we need to all sit down, talk. We need to figure out what we're going to do moving into this new year and this new season, how we're going to grow, how we can work on some new music, how we can really do this thing as brothers and family, yada, yada, yada. So I sent the email. Bam, hit send. When I get an email back, now I sent it to the entities in the group, in the management. But when I get the email back, the email got a couple lawyers attached to it and all this other kind of stuff. And the email basically stated like, dude, I don't need you no more. I should have did this long time ago. I'm going back to the old way of what I should have been doing a long time ago. So cease and desist from using anything with the Tonys attached to it, yada, yada, yada. And that's it. So I was like,
20 years.
I was like, okay. So I emailed him back. And I said, yeah, after 20 years. From him saying all that, my response back was, hey man, you know what? It's been a pleasure and a blessing to rock on many stages with you and Tim. I've had a blast. I had a ball. The good and the bad, the ups and downs. Had a blast and loved it. So, man, continued blessings on your journey. And, man, I wish y'all well, man. And I don't blame it all on that, man, because I probably could have been a good steward over a lot of that myself. You know what I'm saying? Knowing what had been given to me, what was laid in my hand, I probably could have did a few things a little different. But at the same time, man, I gave you 100% every night. Even when I was sick, I had surgery and left 2 days later to go do a show. When I get off stage, my wife is trying to clean my bandages, my gauze and stuff, because blood is just flowing from the get down. And then the niggas never said like, hey man, we appreciate you, you know, none of that kind of stuff, man, or really show some love or just no real love about, man, you been here. I could barely walk.
One day I was scrolling down YouTube listening to quartet music and came across this action-packed bass player named Keith Walker. Also, doing the same thing, scrolling down Facebook, came across this singer named Peter Robertson. And that's how I formed two projects, Nephew and P-Rob.
I won't be happy leaving this earth knowing I didn't get no damn money out this group. That's my biggest problem. I didn't get my money out this group I put my life into. And I said, I don't want to die without trying, at least trying, to get the full potential. It's plenty equity in 2020. If the Tonys was gathered still, we'd be living like Earth, Wind, and Fire. Just comfortable. I put my life in that, bro. Carl put his life in that. Tron put his life in that. Juba put their life in that. For us not to have a comfortable living off contributing to the look and the sound is disrespectful to us. So it's only our fault if we don't do nothing about it. We want to get our money, we want to take care of our kids and our family, and we want to die with a legacy. If Revolution is touring without Prince, the original band can tour without the 3 T's.
You can leave it like that.
Yeah. Straight up.